Okay, glad to know you're still there. This is Rapid Sports on the Breakfast Show. Well, I am Ijoma Victor. While we wait for Michael Obasi to join us this morning, let's tell you that following the recent boycott of training by the Super Eagles, the Director General of the National Sports Commission (NSA), Honorable Bukola Olokpade, has clarified that all funds allocated to the national football team have duly been remitted to the Nigerian Football Federation since he assumed office. Now, he made this known while addressing concern raised by the team's unpaid allowances and logistics issues, which reportedly led to the players' decision to suspend training. Now, he emphasized that all payments are not made to the players directly or the team officials, but all transactions are with the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, the Super Eagles opened campaign on Monday officially, but on Sunday, many of those players arrived camp early enough on Sunday. Then on Monday, completing about 18 of them were in camp. Only for on Tuesday, we saw what happened, and the players boycotted, the training session for Tuesday. Meanwhile, while they were trying to resolve the issues, talking about payment of allowances, bonuses since 2019. Yes, totaling about 6 years, not just one, not just two, since 2019. Also, we talk about the AFCON that was hosted in Côte d'Ivoire, where Nigeria lost in the finals, and also looking at the AFCON qualifiers 2025, the World Cup qualifiers. So they've been playing for the Super Eagles for 6 years. And nothing happened. But meanwhile, we are joined by Michael Obasi, OON, the media aide to the Director General, National Sports Commission. Well, Michael, it's good to have you this morning, if you are available for us.
Thank you so much for having me, Victor. It's a pleasure being on your show this morning.
Okay, it's good to see you also, Michael, on the other side. And how you doing? Hope you're good this morning.
Of course, very fine, very optimistic, waking up to the optimism that today is going to be a great day for a great nation when the Super Eagles take on Gabon in the all-important high-stake playoff in Rabat, Morocco.
Okay, before we go straight into that game properly, yet again, yes, or probably I'll say once again, the NSC intervention in the feud between Super Eagles and the NFF. Yeah, we saw reports coming out yesterday, and the Super Eagles were able to return back to training yesterday evening. Let's talk about that intervention this morning.
That's basically the job of the National Sports Commission, the body responsible for the regulation, coordination of all the sports in the land. And so that is why they are in place, and that's why that the governing body of sports in the country. And of course, this is not the first time the National Sports Commission is doing this for football and every other sport, just that football is a part of all sports in the land. And we are very optimistic. We are focusing on the game today. We don't want to dwell so much on
it, exactly.
Behind the scene, some of the distraction that almost marred this particular preparation for this game. But the players are focused now. You and I are focused. The National Sports Commission, the NFF, we're just focused on this game. Maybe after this playoff, all things being equal, we get to the next round of the playoff. Then we address some of the challenges for it not to repeat its ugly head again, especially as the Super Eagles also be going to the Nations Cup, the AFCON in Morocco later next month.
Okay, it's good. Let's just drop that aside. We'll just go straight and focus on the game proper that we go down this evening. Like you said, it is a distraction, and now it is behind us. We'll focus on what we go down this evening. So far, so good. Let's look at this coach, Eric Chell. So far, so good. Since his arrival in the country, taking that job as a Super Eagles head coach until the last game in Uyo, and now the big one will be going down this evening. What will you make of his formation ahead of this evening's game?
If there's one man I know that is energized and is crept up. He's so motivated to get results for Nigeria in this game. Is Eggshell, the Frenchman. This is a man that came in and it was not a popular choice when he came in. Only for very few to understand his pedigree and what he was able to do, where he was coming from Mali and his stint in Mali. But again, because of the color of his skin, it was not a popular choice by many Nigerians. But gradually, Nigerians are beginning to see that the Nigeria Football Federation, with the National Sports Commission, made the right choice by putting that trust in Eric Sheller to lead the Super Eagles. He came in at a time the Super Eagles were almost down and buried in the World Cup qualification series, but he brought the team up and is yet to lose a game in the qualifying series. And today will not be an exception if you ask me. And he's a man that understands the player-coach solution, the player-coach relationship that most times translates into success on the field of play. The players love him so much. It did not take time for the players to warm up into how he wants to play, his mentality for the team. And that's one thing that every coach must have. And sometimes what we hear in football that once a coach loses his dressing room, no matter how good you are sure the exit or no. Even the biggest coaches of this world, the Jose Mourinho, of course, we're a victim of losing the dressing room. And so they lost their job one way or the other. But that's one thing that Excel has been able to do with the Super Eagles team. He has brought the players to himself. They understand him. They love him. They love each other. There's no problem. The biggest star in our team, Osimhen, plays for the coach. Kevin Bassett plays for the coach. All of them play for the coach. And when that is done, success is almost assured.
Okay, let's look at the tactical ability of the team later this evening. We've talked about the players trying to pour out their hearts for the coach, uniting with the players, the dressing room, which we've also talked about. Now, let's look at the tactical. Is there anything that Eric Chell will do differently today from what he has been doing in past qualification series? Because today, all eyes will be on the Super Eagles in Rabat. So I know he has this popular formation of using a 4-2-3-1 formation, but should we be expecting anything different, especially with the players in camp? Because even when we saw the lineup, it is still the same old warlord. Yes, ready, ever ready to don that green, white, green jersey. What will be your expectations that will go down this evening? Something different that Eric Chell might do today?
What I was telling you, Victor, is the fact that, like what is a popular saying in the coaching parlance, you don't change a winning team, you don't change a winning formation, and so every coach just sticks to that principle, and that's what I expect Share to do today, with more purposeful nature in the mentality of the boys. What we saw against Benin Republic that gave us that ticket to this playoff is likely what we're going to see today. The only aspect of the Super Eagles team that was shaky that many Nigerians were complaining about was the goalkeeping of Stanley Nwabali in recent games. And personally, I'm a big fan of the big man Stanley Nwabali. But again, he has been playing a bit of complacency in his game for some time now. But I expect that he must have put his head together going to this particular game. So if there's one aspect I might want to see a change, is the goalkeeping, but department. I doubt if that will happen because Marco Kwe is back into the team and is playing well for his club Udinese in the Italian Serie A. But not also forget, he has not played too much of games for the coach. And most times, you see coaches sticking to what they know, who they know. Who you sabi is who, of course, who will get to the result most times they say. And so I don't think that will change. But all things being equal, I would like to see what I saw against Benin Republic, but with more purpose. Samuel Chukwueze seems like a man who understands Victor Osimhen the most in the Super Eagles team because they've been together for a long time,
Long time.
from the days at the under 17 level. So he has a way of finding Victor Osimhen in those positions Osimhen love to play his football. And if that is done, then we're ready for an Osimhen show once again against Gabon.
Okay, let's. You've talked about the goalkeeping department where you mentioned Stanley Nwabali. I also talked about him on the show yesterday, and with the arrival of Maduka Okoye also with Udinese in the Serie A. Now let's look at the defense lineup. I don't know if you'll be happy with this. Will you want to see William Chus-Ekong starting for that team later this evening? Will you be seeing William Chus-Ekong starting? Or will he be coming out from the bench in the defense lineup?
That is one tricky area that have generated a lot of debate, especially when you look at the exciting form of the young man Benjamin Frederick, who plays in club football in Belgium and who has come into the Super Eagles team as if he has been there for ages. And of course, the agent, Chus-Ekong, the captain of the side, has been a bit out of form, of course, as a result of his age, and the legs are not. The legs are becoming very leggy, and for a crucial game of this magnitude, many will talk about the experience of Chus-Ekong. He has a way. If you look at the history, Victor, of Chus-Ekong in the Super Eagles, he has a way of giving us some of those important goals. He's our best penalty taker in the Super Eagles. He's the one who takes all the penalties. If you recall, and he has not missed for the Super Eagles for how many times I can remember. And so, for such a player, for such an influential player, it's always very difficult. So, it will be very interesting to see what Eric Shearer will do in today's game. Don't also forget, today's game is not about 90 minutes; it's all about 120 minutes. And so, it's a game that tactically you must put that in your mind. You are not chasing 3 points; you are chasing a winner. And when you look at all of those factors, you look at players that will be there for you, even when the game is stretching to penalties. Who are those players who can be there in penalties? So all of that will play in Eric Shearer's head, and it will be very exciting to see what Eric Shearer will do. But I will not be surprised if Chus-Ekong starts to this game.
Okay, now let's look at the whole playoffs that will go down this evening. Hopefully, looking at the final this weekend, looking at the playoffs. There's a little bit of trouble also in the camp of Cameroon, but we'll say it's not of our business. Yes, we don't know of our business. But Cameroon will take on DR Congo in the later game that will go down after the Super Eagles game. So what was your take on that game? We don't want to focus on the Nigerian game, but let's look at our opponent. Probably if we get to the final, DR Congo and Cameroon.
In as much as we are 100% focused on the game against Gabon, our eyes is also on the other game because we must know what is going to happen. And good enough, our game is the first game in Rabat, and the second game later tonight is going to be the Congo Cameroon, the Indomitable Lions game. If you ask me, I would prefer Nigeria Cameroon in the final.
Exactly.
Of course, some persons asking that question yesterday in the office. That is what I would love in the final of this playoff. I wouldn't want a Nigeria Congo final because too much of a Nigerian underdog. And sometimes when you play underdogs in a final where they have nothing to lose, all pressure will be mounted on the Super Eagles. And you can now see the Congolese playing with a lot of freedom and all of that. And it has a way of just turning things around in football. We've seen it many, many times. And the Congolese might just be playing for the extra time, or playing for the penalties. And so all of those things might not just work in our favor. But if you play a perennial rival in Cameroon, we know what to expect. And so it's going to be fireworks from the blast of the whistle to the last minute. So I would prefer Nigeria Cameroon in as much as we are focusing on Gabon today. We're not underrating the Gabonese, but again, it's a game that the Super Eagles is focused on.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, I want to put you on the spot. Your first 11 for tonight's game.
Stanley Nwabali in goal. Kevin Bassey at centre back alongside Trust Ekong. Benjamin Frederick as the number 2 at the right back. Of course, the man who plays club football in Birmingham, what is his name again? Osai Samuel is back in the team. I don't mind an Osai Samuel at left back, just to give it that centre back a huge solidity, because Osai Samuel is very solid and he's a business-minded centre back. But again, it's going to affect the attacking flow of our fullbacks. But again, we have so much in the middle of the pack. So in the middle of the pack is the experience Wilfred Ndidi for me, unarguably, and the most informed Nigerian midfielder right now in Europe. Talking about Alex Iwobi, in as much as he plays from the side at Fulham, is getting more into that number 10 position in the Super Eagles team. And I will play Samuel Chukwueze just behind Victor Osimhen as a third midfielder. And of course, in the flank, the experienced Moses Simon, one side, and Ademola Lookman, the other side. And the goal machine himself, Victor Osimhen, to give us all the goals.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael Obase. And finally, what will be your prediction this evening?
Even the bookmakers all over are predicting the Super Eagles to win this one. And I think we're going to win. And I think it's going to be a 2-0. Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman's goal.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael Obase. Truly appreciate you for your time. Busy person you are. You had to sacrifice this moment for me. Truly appreciate you. That's Michael Obase, OON, the media aide to the Director General, National Sports Commission. Hopefully, maybe on Friday, we might bring you back and probably we'll be celebrating the sole ticket for the African playoff. Truly appreciate you, Michael Obase. And that's a wrap on the show this morning. Rapid Sports on the Breakfast Show. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll bring you all the latest. That is if we've grabbed the only ticket. I am Ijoma Victor. Good morning.